In today's video, we're just going to do a quick update on what's been happening recently in Guyana and Suriname.
This is the Q4 update 2022, and it includes a look at the recently announced discoveries by Exxon at Sailfin Yarrow. If you stay to the end of this video, we have got a special offer, our Black Friday offer, so stick around. I say it's been a while, and you can see this is actually the 5th video we've done. Our last video was released on the 8th of July. We're not a sort of a blow-by-blow daily news channel, but we like to do a sort of review every few months of what's been happening in the basin. So if you find this of interest and value, please subscribe and come back and join us on the channel in future. We don't really have a lot of time for these endless press release regurgitations that there are. A company puts out a press release and about 40 or 50 different outlets just essentially rerun the same story. Here on Trove News, it's your feedback that informs us what videos we should go for, what you're interested in. So leave a comment underneath, or just like us and share us with your colleagues, and that way word will spread if these videos have got value. So anyway, who's watching? Well, we did an analysis recently, and you can see here, this is just one of our social media outlets. You're seeing that we've got nearly 250,000 views on one outlet, and we were actually quite surprised to see that 15% of our engagements were for a CEO or a managing director. It was actually only 10% are geologists, geoscientists and geophysicists. Now, you know, our target audience is really the sort of the geoscience community, but we're more than happy to see CEOs and MDs taking an interest in our channel. So in this episode today, well, we're going to be looking at well activity in Guyana in 2022, and also we'll talk a little bit about the licensing round, although it's a little early for much information to come out on Guyana. Same for Suriname, but a bit more information on the licensing round that's been announced in the last few weeks. We'll have a look at Stabroek production, an update on any news in there. It is a very fast-moving area, so there's every likelihood that by this time tomorrow, something will be out of date, but we try and catch up, and there will be the odd omission, so please bear with us. Here's the press release. October the 26th, ExxonMobil. They announced 2 new Guyana discoveries, and that's the rest of it. Pause the video if you want to read the details on these, and we'll kind of look at them in a little bit of context. So to start with, this is a map of the Stabroek block, and you're seeing quite a number of the discoveries actually shown on this map. This is a Hess map. It's a couple of months out of date. They aren't sending us the latest updates of their map directly. Shameful, I know. But anyway, Hess are one of the partners in with operator ExxonMobil, and CNOOC, the Chinese oil company, is also a partner in this block. And they've had over 30 significant oil discoveries since 2015. Now, as you can see there, water depth, this is ultra deep water. You can see 5,500 to 11,000 foot water depth. And TDs of the wells, well, they're deep wells. They're anywhere between 17,000 to 23,000 feet. Now, if we look at this, and this is tongue-in-cheek, guys, but, you know, you've got so many oil fields there. Is it all just part and parcel of the same one? Well, I'm sure it isn't, but we're starting to think it might be the Stabroek mega field that we have out here. The latest Stabroek exploration wells, well, Banjo was a dry hole, kind of located in one of the more proximal areas. We have Seabob was a discovery, announced as a discovery. Sailfin, we're not entirely sure the location of that, but just been announced in the last week or two as a discovery, along with Yarrow. Again, another one of these more proximal discoveries, kind of off that major trend, and a secondary trend here developing as we go along. And we anticipate that Fangtooth, the appraisal drilling, will start any time now on that opportunity. So having a look at the latest discoveries in context, and you can see here, this is a graph showing the various discoveries and the meters of pay that has been declared in each of these. You can see so far in 2022, there have been 12 discoveries, 2 in Suriname, Bajo, which was with Apache, and Krabdagu, which was Total Energies. And of course, in Guyana, we've got the 9 discoveries that have added to the list of discoveries by ExxonMobil in Stabroek. And of course, the CGX Energy Quarantine block discovery. So the latest, you can see the two in green highlighted there on the right-hand side. Yarrow's the shortest reported column or pay. However, 23 meters, still not a bad discovery. And with Sailfin, it's the second longest column reported this year. So looks to be a very significant discovery. So in terms of water depth, you can see again here all the discoveries from this year listed at the top of the graph. And you can see the water depth here measured in meters. And you can see that they really range the discoveries from the shallow water to the ultra deep water. Now, we kind of see water depth as a surrogate for where it is in the sequence, the proximal versus distal subsea fans, etc. Moving on swiftly to production, and production now within the Stabroek block. There are 2 FPSOs operational on the Liza fields. We're anticipating that Payara should be on stream late 2023 and Yellowtail 2025. The 5th project has been nominated, which is going to be Lau Lau, and the anticipation is that there'll be over 1 million barrels of oil per day production by 2030. The photograph shows the Liza. I think it's the Destiny on that particular photograph. The other news that came out was, SBM have been successful. They've signed a deal with ExxonMobil for the 6th Guyana FPSO. The 5th one went to MODEC. But now SBM are back in with another one. That's an article from Upstream. In terms of Suriname, you can see we've talked about Krabdagu. We did a video just looking at the results of that. Block 53, Baja was a discovery for Apache. And most recently, we have heard that Zandridge's discovery in Block 42 for Shell. Again, still continuing to make finds across and extend the play really across into Suriname. Block 58 development, it's now been 3 or 4 years since Maka Central was found. It's an area that's got significantly higher GOR than in Stabroek, and it's probably, not going to be either efficient or, for that matter, welcome to go and be flaring an awful lot of gas. So probably looking for sort of a critical mass to put in place a gas export and gas processing facilities and maybe a terminal for LNG or whatever. Now, also in some of the press releases, there was been talk of a seismic to wells ties issue that has been cited. Don't really understand what that is, but maybe there's some shallow water velocity anomalies or something. But certainly this has not been a fast-tracked area, whereas certainly within Stabroek, things are moving very, very quickly. Finally, the Block 58, the Awari prospect is being drilled as we speak, and we'll follow up with that in a future video. So Suriname, they've announced a bidding round. So this is a reconstruction here. This is, I think, Mike Lakin at Envoi. He does such a good job. And you can see here Suriname, and in this reconstruction here, you're seeing the Guinea platform and some of the discoveries that have been here, Dome Floor in Sinapa, up here, and here's the whole sort of trend across Suriname, Guyana, the Golden Lane, as it's been known, 16 billion barrels. Well, okay, that's probably a reasonable estimate. And here you've got French Guiana. This was really kind of one of the play openers, really. It was drilled back a few years ago, and the follow-up wells weren't terribly successful, but had 72 meters of pay in the Cretaceous oil play. And we've got much more information on that well within our Trove database. So you can see when you do the reconstruction, the Demerara bid round acreage is kind of located in quite a good address here between the oil trends here up on the Guinea Plateau in the reconstruction and also for the Guyana Suriname basin. So be an area of interest. So here's more detail of it, and you can see the 6 blocks outlined here. And so going from 63 right up to 68. You can see that there are some wells in there. They've all had sort of reported shows in them. And again, anything and everything that we've been able to glean, we've put into our Trove database. Bear in mind, not only do we have this trend here, but there's over 1 billion barrels of heavy oil actually located here at Tambarajo and Calcutta field onshore in Suriname. So it is a significant area, and most of the wells that you're seeing on here, certainly the deep water wells, have all been drilled within the last decade or two. So it's an area that has been opened up, very recently. The round itself, well, bid rounds close on the 31st of May 2023. There are 6 blocks amounting to nearly 44,000 square kilometres. It's over a sparsely explored high, and they're described as having large undrilled stacked prospectivity. So we can have a look at that. Here's a little more detail here, and this is showing really the sort of the ACT source kitchen that is believed to be the source rock and responsible for all the discoveries in the Guyana Suriname basin. Likewise, if we look over here, the oil from Zedeus thought to be sourced essentially from seawards or mainly seawards of where the well was drilled, and postulated here that there's a source interval. And the question is going to be about the level of maturity that can be achieved here. But it does look like this is a pretty good address. It is a sort of a regional high area. Also, these very, very shallow ODP wells, we have all the details of each and every one of those within Trove. Easy to access, quick, great source of information. Structural and stratigraphic traps, Cretaceous and Jurassic prospectivity. So here's the seismic, and we can see actually there's about 4 3Ds, or these coloured areas in here, in blocks 63, 64 and 65. In this region here we've got a sort of 2.5D, some sort of relatively closely spaced 2D grid, and then you can see that in some of these other areas it's a very sparse grid. But lots of this seismic is available to assess the prospectivity in the region. So the other thing that Suriname are doing, they've announced that the terms of the PSC are going to be a 30-year license period. Now that's commonly, in the region, a 20-year period is more common, but it's going to be extended. And then the royalty rate's being set at 6.25%. Now, Starbrook was lower, but that was very early and pre any of the play opening successes in the region. And just shows you there a comparison with the taxation in other countries. The crudes in the area are proved to be very low sulfur, which is a contrast to, many of the crudes in Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador. So it is good. And then bid rounds close on the 31st of May. So coming up, well, we are aware of the fact that there is a licensing round in Guyana, and we're looking forward to this. Is the 4th of November, so this is just over a week and a half ago. We haven't really seen very much more information published since then. We do hope that they'll send that through to us and we can include it in on our next video. All of the licenses that have been awarded to date were really sort of just an open door policy. This is the first official bidding round. It's going to open in 2022. There are 14 blocks. 11 of them are shallow water, 3 of them are deep water. They are in the process of finalising the fiscal terms and conditions, and the likelihood these are only going to go one way. Starbrook was, because, the early bird, they got some very, very favourable terms because it was very high-risk exploration at that time. But now that the trend is well established and we're talking about, multiple billions of barrels of reserves, it is likely that the government take is going to be higher. Yeah, just a reminder, if you get Trove, you can save months of work collating key subsurface technical data. Other news that's going to be coming up, well, we've got something on Zandridge on the next slide. Way is drilling, and any other news and features, we'll put out a video probably early in 2023. Here's the press announcement. Again, I think this is from upstream. It seems to say that there has been a discovery. I think Hess are a little bit more upbeat than this particular article suggests, but it doesn't sound like it's been a huge success. It looks like it's established maybe a smaller accumulation. That's from 8 days ago. We haven't really seen anything since then, so we're awaiting confirmation and further detail. So to summarize, Guyana Suriname Basin has delivered 10 more discoveries in 2022. Production volumes are continuing to grow and more FPSOs are on order. Exploration continues in both Suriname and in Guyana. In Suriname, I think the need is to establish a critical reserves mass, particularly for more gassy reserves. Guyana and Suriname, well, their economies are in the process of being transformed. The 2 licensing rounds, 1 in each country, have been announced, and proven basin reserves greater than 12 billion barrels. Well, I've seen 16 billion on other assessments. Now, get the data you need to understand the geology, the fields and discoveries, the stratigraphy, the structural evolution, the infrastructure, all of these things. They can be found by our Black Friday sale. We've got a special offer out there to subscribe for TROVE Latin America North. It's a special offer of $9,950 per annum, and it covers all of the discoveries and fields and some prospects in Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, and Trinidad and Tobago. You can see the number of fields, discoveries, and other assets. It's kind of a scouting service. It's a field and discovery database. It's also essentially a wiki for all of oil and gas activity throughout this Latin America North region. The offer ends on the 31st of December 2022, and this offer it's actually less than half our list price. So if it's of interest, please contact us at info@firstsom.com, and there's the small print below. This is the sort of thing that we cover in the Latin America North TROVE database. You can see all the assets by country, by fluid type, by operator, by asset type, by basin, by age, onshore, offshore, various other slices and dices here, and a list of, some of the assets here listed down below. So if this is of interest, please just drop us a line at info@firstsom.com. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Look forward to having you back on our channel soon. Bye for now.